Hi everyone, my name is Mary Beth. Welcome to my channel. So today we're going to do a weekly update for the Divine Feminine and the Divine Masculine, see where we're at. So today is May 25th and this will run to May 31st. And so what I decided to do was pick some theme cards for the week to see like what the themes were for the week for the twin flames. And also when you click on this channel, it is the right time for you. Okay, so these readings are timeless. And then also we're going, of course, to ask a bunch of questions about the head space and the heart space and other things for the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine. And if you wanted a personal reading, this is basically what your reading would look like, okay? But it would be personal to your situation. All right, so let's get started. Let's see what are the themes of the week for this week. Okay, so what I'm seeing right away is we have the full moon temple. So this is a major theme for the week for twin flames, and what this has to do with is celebrating how far you've come. So I think a lot of us have been doing the work. A lot of us have been, you name it, we've been overcoming it, we've been transcending, we have been going through all sorts of, shadow work, all sorts of balancing out the divine feminine, divine masculine, and they're saying this week is a time to really celebrate how far we've come, how far like we have ascended or transcended or whatever this means to you. They're even saying, you can make yourself an altar and just kind of like, I don't know, just kind of like celebrate, like just celebrate like everything that you've overcome and how far you've gotten, kind of look back and say, wow, and just kind of feel in that glorious feeling of, like I have done the work already. Obviously, like we're doing the work until we die, right? But it's like, look how much work I've done already. And so they want you to celebrate that. Feel like that peak transcendence of, I'm pretty where I need to be right now. I'm feeling great. Also, another theme is you are good enough. So maybe some of you needed to hear that. So maybe some of you are feeling kind of down, and that's why they're saying you need to celebrate how far you've come. Maybe you haven't noticed how far you've come. If you really look back, and even if you just like, I don't know why, but for some reason this Memorial Day weekend, I was looking back at old pictures with my daughter. She's very into the whole, what do you call that? When you look at your ancestry.com anyway. And so you kind of look back over the years and you're like, oh yeah, I've come pretty far from where I used to be anyway. Another card we got is surrender your ego. Okay. So I don't know. So this says cultivate gratitude, be of service to others, and come from your heart. A big ego can work against you, but humility will further your goals. So it's almost like hushing your, mind. It's almost like that analytical mind. It's almost like turning the dial down, right? It's like you look at your analytical mind as a dial and you turn it down to 0, and then instead just have gratitude, again for and just be in celebration of how far you've come and being in gratitude for the abundance and everything good that's happening. Just kind of notice what's good, instead of your ego, which likes to maybe focus on the bad. Okay, and then the last card we got is Artemis, and the theme for the week is Artemis, and this says you and your loved ones are safe and spiritually protected. So for those of you who aren't feeling safe at this time, Spirit wants you to know that you are safe and that you and your loved ones are safe and not to worry. Okay. And again, make this a week of celebration instead of focusing on what's not good. And also what this card is saying is, trust your gut. It's saying you are correct. Okay. Whatever it is you're thinking, like if this has something to do with the mission, they're asking not to procrastinate anymore and get moving on that. Your gut is correct. This is also saying anything about a relationship with your twin flame. You feel that your twin flame is the one. They're saying you're correct. Do not back down. Do not give your power away. You know what's right. You know what's correct. And don't stop. And that you're protected, spiritually protected by the angels. Okay, so those are the themes for the week. Okay, so now let's start with the headspace. Let's start with how does the Divine Masculine view the connection this week? So again, this is a timeless reading. Whenever you click on it is the right time for you. So this is for the collective. How does the Divine Masculine collective view the connection this week? 2 cards, please. How does the Divine Masculine view the connection this week? 2 cards. Okay. So, so it's kind of interesting. So it's interesting. So we have, okay. So we have stand your ground and hope. Okay. So 7 of Wands is all about persevering and not giving up. And it's all about, it's almost like in their mind, they're kind of giving up hope right now. So in their mind, they're kind of, yeah, they're trying not to give up hope is what they're telling me. They're trying not to give up hope, but they're starting to lose steam a little bit this week. But at the same time, they're standing their ground with this relationship. So they're going to persevere. They're not giving up on this relationship. That's how they view this connection. I don't know why, but let's get a clarifier. Why are they feeling like they might be giving up a little hope here? Why is the Sun card reversed? Why is the Sun card reversed for the Divine Masculine Collective, please? Why is the Sun card reversed for this week? Well, because the relationship's over. They got the Grim Reaper. Well, they're losing hope because they feel like they don't have a second chance with you. So that's how they're viewing. But at the same time, they're standing their ground. They're not giving up. Okay? So that's how they're viewing this connection, which is beautiful. Okay, so let's take a look at the Divine Feminine. Let's pull 2 cards. How does the Divine Feminine view the connection, please, for this week? How does the Divine Feminine view the connection, please? 2 cards. The Divine Feminine Collective. They like me to shuffle at least 2 times. And the reason why I say it out loud, I'm going to do it one more time. The reason why I say it out loud is because I don't like to lose my train of thought. Because I'm so like airy-fairy in my mind. Okay, how do they view the connection? How do they view the connection? Okay, how does the Divine Feminine view the connection? Interesting. Okay, so the way the Divine Feminine views is we have King of Pentacles reversed, and we have 3 of Wands upright. Okay. So the way the Divine Feminine views the connection is she sees it as unstable. Okay, she doesn't see this as a relationship that is very harmonious at this time, but at the same time, awaiting results. So kind of like in that waiting, like that 3 of Wands is all about waiting for your ships to come in. And this week, it's all about, where is it? I thought it was coming by now, and not feeling very stable about this. So we need to turn this around and feel, because we don't want the relationship to come in, right, if we're feeling unstable about it, right? We want to feel stable about this relationship, and then we want the relationship to come in, because your Divine Masculine has no, and same with him, it's the same, he or she, right? So your Divine Masculine has no choice but to reflect what's inside of you, and vice versa. They can only reflect what's inside of, we can only reflect what's inside of them. Okay. So if they're reflecting that, I have no second chances, we have no choice but to reflect that back in them. And they have no choice to reflect the fact that we're unstable or feeling unstable about this relationship. Okay, so let's get a clarifier. So yeah, so that's why this is a week to celebrate. Let's celebrate how far we've come. We've been doing the work, right? We've been, integrating our shadow sides. That's been a big one, right? Accepting our shadows, not feeling so fragmented. But let's see, why are we feeling so unstable about this connection, please, for the collective, for the Divine Feminine? Why is King of Pentacles reversed? Why? Yeah, the runner. Well, because we feel our Divine Masculine has run away from us. We're like, where art thou, Divine Masculine? Where have you run to? We feel like our divine masculine has a fear of intimacy. We feel like our divine masculine has run away. If you watched last week's videos, I did one on why is your divine masculine still running. I really highly recommend you watching that video. Why is your divine masculine still running? Please watch that. That will answer a lot of your questions. So that was one of last week's videos. But anyway, that is why you're feeling a bit unstable about this connection. Okay, but you're waiting on results. You're waiting for something to happen. Okay, so now let's do what is in divine masculine's headspace for this week. What is in the divine masculine's headspace this week, please? 2 cards. 2 cards. What is in the divine masculine's headspace? What is in their headspace? Well, that's interesting too. All right, so we have the Magician reversed and we have 5 of Wands reversed. Okay, so what this is saying is what's in their headspace is that they're not aware of something. They don't have full awareness of what's going on. I'm going to get clarity on this, though I want to know what they're not aware about, okay, in their headspace. Also, at the same time, they no longer feel defeated in this relation. They no longer feel conflicted. So it's almost like it's so weird, right? It's almost like we have a negative and a positive for every single step so far, right? So let's get a clarifier. What is the divine masculine not aware of? What is in their headspace? What are they not aware of for the divine masculine collective? What are they not aware of, please? What is going on? What are they not aware of? Yeah, there's a mask. Yeah. So what they're not aware of is your true feelings. That's what they're not aware of. You're not showing your true feelings. In their minds, you're not showing their true feelings. It's a delusion. There's a huge delusion. It's delusional. So at the same time, they're not feeling defeated. They want reconciliation. That's what's in their mind. The 5 of Wands reversed. Yeah, they want reconciliation, but they're not feeling like this is done. They're feeling like this is not done. Okay, so let's look at the divine feminine. What is in the divine feminine's headspace this week? What is in the divine feminine's headspace this week? What is going on with the divine feminine in their headspace? 2 cards. Divine feminine, please. What is going on in the headspace? Very interesting. I had a feeling this would be an interesting week. Okay, so what do we got here? Ace of Swords reversed and 7 of Pentacles upright. Can you see that? The glare? Okay, so what this means is for the divine feminine's headspace, kind of like the divine masculine. You know how the divine masculine is not very aware due to the fact that it has no idea what your true feelings are? Well, this week, it's kind of the same with the divine feminine. In the headspace, it's kind of like this. There's no clarity, right? So you're not getting any clarity on this relationship. There's no breakthroughs. There's no awareness. You're just kind of in the dark. But at the same time, 7 of Pentacles, you're reevaluating everything. It's like you haven't quite given up on this. Because the reason why I know that, because in this card there's a lot of like deep roots. It's almost like you're too deep rooted in this whole relationship, right? I mean, you've come this far. You've invested this much time and effort, right? Even though it doesn't feel like in the physical, but definitely energetically, right? For the past few years, we've all been really investing energetically, spiritually, and physically, in all sorts of ways. We have been investing in this, and so it's like you guys are reevaluating everything which is good. But let's get clarification. What is the divine feminine? Well, let's do this. Let's ask 2 cards. First of all, what is the divine feminine reevaluating? I'm curious. What is the divine feminine reevaluating? What is the divine feminine reevaluating? Collective, yeah. I have to say that. Okay, what are they reevaluating? Yeah, they're reevaluating the whole breakup. They're reevaluating everything. They're reevaluating the fact, like, have they really been abandoned? What is this abandonment issue? So it's almost like the reevaluation might have to do with your own shadow side. Like, what is this abandonment feeling about? Because this is something inside of me. Is it really something that I feel someone else did to me, or is this something that I choose to feel about me? And is this something I need to release? And I think the same for the divine masculine, because we're a mirror to each other. They're reevaluating why there's a pattern here. Like, why do I have these patterns that keep happening? Just reevaluating everything, okay? And a lot of it has to do with inner work, okay? But now I'm curious, let's just ask. Okay, so what is it that the divine feminine is not aware of? What is it that the divine feminine is not aware of? Because it's like the divine feminine doesn't have clarity. So what do they not have clarity on? Separation. Separation. Runner. Hilarious. So doesn't get clarity on, like, what's going to happen in the future. No clarity on, I miss you, and I'm sad that we're separated, but I'm not getting any clarity that you feel the same way. So it's really a big mirroring going on this week. All like both parties feeling the same exact way, both sides feeling and not understanding why. Remember, there's a universal secret here. Remember that we're mirroring everything, if that's a hint. I know it sounds weird, but we're mirroring everything. It's like we're one big mirror. And so, anyway, sorry, my knees. Okay, so let's move on. So let's ask, and by the way, a personal reading would look very similar, but it would be just like to your situation. Okay, so let's ask about the heart space. What is going on in the divine masculine's heart space, please? 2 cards for the collective for divine masculine heart space. 2 cards. What is going on in the divine masculine's heart space this week, please? What is happening? What is happening? Oh, that's interesting. All right, so we have root chakra reversed, and we have the 8 of Pentacles upright. Right, so in their heart space, man, oh man, they want to move forward with you. They are in a very positive feeling with you in their heart, okay? But the problem is that their root chakra is very imbalanced right now. So their root chakra, okay? So that has a lot to do with money, has a lot to do with being ungrounded. This has a lot to do with survival issues, safety. I don't know, like maybe because of what's going on in the world right now, maybe for some, not all, maybe some are feeling quite unsafe during the virus, maybe some are without a job due to the economy. And so in their heart space, this is kind of taking over their hearts right now. Like they're feeling very uncertain in their survival, in their, sense of safety. Or, okay, this is what they're telling me. Nothing, okay, this is what they're telling me. They're saying this has nothing to do with what's going on in the world. They're like, no, this has nothing to do with the virus, they said this has to do with not feeling safe with you. This is what they're telling me. They're like, the safety has to do with, they don't know if they can feel safe with you. So in their heart space, they want to do this positive, but they're afraid you might break their heart, is what they're telling me. That's what so yeah. They don't know if they can feel safe with you guys because they're afraid of getting their hearts broken. So, okay. Let's do the divine feminine now. What's in the heart space of the divine feminine? Let's see here. And that makes sense, right? I mean, we're mirroring each other. Don't we feel the same way? Don't we feel like, oh, but what if they break our... What if they break my heart? Right? Okay. Oh, sorry. Wrong deck. Sorry about that. Let's do the divine feminine, please. What is in the heart space of the divine feminine for the divine masculine? 2 cards, please. Collective. Divine feminine collective. What is in their heart space this week? For the divine masculine. What is in their heart space, please? Okay. Gotta make room here. Yeah, I know. Oh, okay. So what we got here is we've got the Page of Cups reversed with the Ten of Swords reversed. Okay, right. So in their heart space, the divine feminine is waiting for this message of love from their divine master. They're just, they're like, where's this message of love that I've been waiting for? But at the same time, the Ten of Swords is reversed, right? So they no longer feel this painful. They no longer see it as such a painful ending. It's almost like we've kind of started a new cycle where it's like, okay, things happened. I'm not the same person anymore, right? There was a painful ending in the past, but I'm not the same person anymore, and neither are they. We've done a lot of growing, and we're doing a lot of reevaluating here. And obviously, the divine masculine is feeling pretty positive in their heart about the divine feminine. I think energetically, the divine feminine knows that. And so they see that this painful ending is done. That cycle is done. And now it's time for a new beginning. Okay, so it was needed. So I'm going to tell a funny story just real quick. When I was with my divine masculine, he was very into the I Ching. And so we asked the question, how can we strengthen the relationship? And the I Ching said break up. And I laugh now about it because like they were serious. They were like, oh yeah, you want to strengthen this relationship, you have to break up. And we didn't know what the hell. I'm like, well, why? Like, what? Oh, because now you know why. Because we're here. It's a very much of a journey of a different type of relationship, an unconditional love of being in a different template of a relationship where it's not like that old relationship where you kind of depend on each other, and you feed off each other and energetically you look to them to make you happy, right? So we had to go through this breakup, that painful ending, to catapult us into a new higher vibrational version of ourselves, right? And so like of course we could always get back into relationship with each other at a lower version where we were, or we can choose to learn from our painful endings and get back together at a higher version of ourselves, right? So I think that's what this is saying. At the same time, the divine feminine in her heart space is saying, well, where's that message of love? Or I would love to give that message of love, but I'm afraid of being rejected, or whatever the reason is, whatever it is for you. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's ask, what does the divine masculine want right now? Let's ask that question. What does the divine masculine want at this time? Let's see. 2 cards, please. What does the divine masculine want right now? 2 cards. That is so strange. I'm gonna have to get a clarifier on this. Okay. So what they want right now, they have the Hermit card and they have the 6 of Wands. So I'm going to need clarity on this because it's saying the same thing. It's almost like what they want right now is to, well, first of all, what I'm getting is what they're telling me. They want to move on from the past, for sure. But they still at the same time want to go within for more inner knowledge. Like they really want more of that. It's almost like they need solitude this week because they really are starting to grasp some certain inner wisdom this week that I don't think that they've come across of before, and they're starting to get some clarity here. But it's more like a spiritual guidance. So what they want right now is more spiritual guidance, is what they're telling me. They also want to move on from the past. They don't. They don't want to repeat the past. They don't want the same pattern. So what they want is they want more spiritual guidance so that when they're back with you, we all that they don't make the same mistakes. That's what they're telling me. Okay, got it. All right, I don't need clarity now because they just told me. Okay, so let me get the divine feminine. What does the divine feminine want right now? What does the divine feminine want? 2 cards, please. What does the divine feminine want this week, please? 2 cards for the collective. What does the divine feminine want? Almost like the same thing. It's so interesting. So also what we got for the divine feminine is we got the Tower, okay, and we got 7 of Cups reversed. Okay. All right. So what this is telling me is that first of all, the divine feminine no longer wants to be in this like fantasy world of being with their divine masculine. They no longer want this to be of like a temptation or a daydreaming. Like they're done with like the divine feminine is done with the whole like up in their heads thinking about it. They want to be more grounded right now. They don't want to be in their fantasies when it comes to what they want right now. And they want divine intervention. Okay, the Tower card. They want the divine to come in and they want them to shift things. They want this sudden. So when I think of the Tower card, it's almost like a shock, right? It's like this sudden change. They want this sudden change. They want this shift. Like there's no tomorrow. Like they want to wake up one morning and just say, bam, it's changed. Like this nightmare's changed. And they don't care if it's in the most shocking way possible, as long as it's positive. Okay, like this, like they don't want to be in this anymore. They don't. The divine feminine. We don't want to be this anymore. We don't want to be waiting results and thinking about it and daydreaming about it and saying, oh yeah, I love my divine masculine. I can't wait for them to come back. No, we want this shock to come in. We want this to come in, and it will shock the heck out of us. We want to be shocked. We want divine intervention. We want the divine to intervene and say, divine timing is here. That's what the divine feminine wants. Okay, so now let's ask another question. Okay, so what is the divine masculine's challenges? Okay, what is the divine masculine's challenges right now? 2 cards. What are the divine masculine's biggest challenges for the collective right now? What is the biggest challenges? 2 cards, please. What are the challenges? Yeah. So the biggest challenge for the divine masculine right now, so we have 2 of Wands and we have the 8 of Pentacles. So the biggest challenge for the divine masculine right now is this mental conflict. All up in their heads, overthinking, not really trusting their gut. Okay, instead they're thinking, I feel unsafe. I think my divine feminine is not going to accept me. Okay, I don't think the divine, there's this mask here. The divine masculine feels like my divine feminine doesn't have true feelings for me because there's kind of a mask here, doesn't see the true feelings. But at the same time, is not giving up. That's for sure. Not giving up. So, anyway, too much mental conflict is a big challenge for the divine masculine. And also, a big challenge is that they're not really ready to take that chance to go out on a limb. That really forward motion, right, that it takes, like that accelerated motion seems to be a challenge for them. Instead, they're like, I need more knowledge. So to counteract their mental conflict, right, because they keep overthinking it, and they keep thinking, I don't think this is the way I think it's going to go. They want more spiritual knowledge. They want more wisdom to counteract this mental conflict, and that therefore is not able to make this accelerated motion. That is what they're telling me for the divine masculine on challenges. But let's ask the divine feminine. What is the biggest challenges when it comes to the Divine Feminine? What are the major challenges for the Divine Feminine? 2 cards, please. Yeah. Right. Okay. So the biggest challenges for the Divine Feminine is we have the Justice card reversed, and we have the Ten of Pentacles. Okay, so so what they're telling me with this is that yes, even though the Divine Feminine has had many achievements, okay, and this is why a theme for this week is that you keep doing what you're doing, right? You keep keep doing what you're doing, but at the same time celebrate how far you've come, because I don't think we've done that yet. Instead, we just keep going and striving. And at the same time, Artemis is saying, you are safe. Please don't feel like you're not safe. And at the same time, they're saying, trust your gut. Your gut is what's correct, not what your ego is telling you, right? Artemis is saying, let go of this ego. Mr. Artemis is saying this. Listen to Artemis. Or maybe it's a she. Sorry, Artemis is a she. So anyway, let go of that ego. Trust your gut, okay? And know that you are good enough, okay? So this Ten of Pentacles is something that you've been working very hard on. At the same time, there's something in our soul contract that's not quite balanced. So not quite finished. So there's a little bit more to our soul contract, but I'm going to get a clarifier as to what in the soul contract, what is still the challenge. So let me get one of these cards first, if I want more, just in case. So I want to know, what part of our soul contract are we not fulfilling for the Divine Feminine? There's a contract that we signed up for before we get into union, and the Divine Feminine isn't quite fulfilling. It's not quite there yet, okay? So part of it is learning from the past, okay? So we got the camera, okay? So part of it has to do with learning from the past, okay? And maybe there's something in your soul contract where there might be some karma, or there might be some things that need to be balanced. So the Justice is all about balancing out the karma, balancing out your Divine Feminine and your Divine Masculine. Again, when you release the ego, it's all about trusting your gut. It's about part of our soul contract is to take all those things that we don't like about ourselves, or everything that we've suppressed, all those things that were annoying about us, right? So whatever is triggered in us that comes back to us, like if we're triggered by people, like certain things that they do or say, just know it's something in yourself that's you've suppressed, and that it's yours and you haven't accepted yet. And that's huge, because there's no one that's going to trigger you more than your own twin flame. They are your direct mirrors, and they're going to shine a light inside of you, and they're going to show you all of you. And it's going to be very difficult to accept all of you until you start doing that shadow work and really accepting your shadow self as well. Okay, so that's part of the soul contract, okay? And then I was just going to ask one more. If you can give me one more on what part of the soul contract that is still not balanced. One more thing, please. Do any other, let's see, clarifiers when it comes to why is the Ten of Pentacles here with Justice card reversed for the Divine Feminine? Why? The Moon. Yeah. So, okay, so this is about letting go of illusions, letting go of fear. Okay. Mostly illusions. The universal secret is something you have to take into consideration. And it's very much like we all have this perception and belief system, and it's almost like shielding us. It's like in our aura, right? So we have all these pictures of beliefs of what our ego has told us, and it's like shielding. And so whenever it's like new information, all this other wisdom is trying to come through, it's like we block it with our own perception and our own pictures of what our belief systems are, right? And the problem is that we have to kind of ground those, right? Like if you picture us grounding, kind of like take those pictures and let it fall into the ground, right? And that way we're more neutral and more at peace. And that way people aren't triggering us as much, and just say, you know what? I like what this one guy, because I keep taking classes. This is what I'm doing as well in my free time I have, because I work a full-time job. But he calls it a permission rose, where you put like a permission rose between you and another person, and you talk, and then you have your own little world, and they have their own little world, and that way you can't get triggered from each other. And just say it's okay that their own little world looks like that, and it's okay that my own little world looks like this. And I'm not saying my world is right and their world is wrong. I think my world is right. They think their world is right. It's okay. You just kind of put a rose in the middle of each other. And as you talk, you just kind of accept what each other's saying. And it's kind of interesting. And it's more like we're going into a vibration of peace, okay? Peace and happiness, and that we are all one. And it's okay about our belief systems being very different. That's okay. So twin flames are also fulfilling that part of our contract. Because trust me, your divine masculine is going to do things that you're going to find intolerable. And vice versa. They're going to find you to do things that's intolerable. And so you really want to have a practice before you get into union. You really want to practice how to be how to tolerate things that really tick you off, things that really trigger you, because it's going to really come out now with all these retrogrades. It's really going to trigger you as to what you're going to notice, what is going to make you feel off balance, okay? All right, and then we'll do one last question. We're going to do, what is the divine's guidance? What's the guidance for the divine masculine? So 2 cards. What is the guidance for the divine masculine? What is divine guidance, please, for the collective, for the divine masculine, please? What is divine guidance? Yes. They're asking, okay, so we got throat chakra and we got 4 of Wands reversed. Okay, so the guidance for the divine masculine is to balance their throat chakra, okay? Because right now they're afraid to speak, they're afraid to reach out, they're afraid, like I've said, because their root chakra is very much imbalanced right now. They don't feel safe. It could be what's going on in the world, but what they're telling me, it has to do with this relationship. They're not quite feeling safe with this relationship yet, for whatever their reasons are. And just know they have very good own reasons for it. Because remember, they're your mirror, okay? And you don't sometimes know what's inside of you that's mirroring back to them. And they aren't aware of what's inside of them that's mirroring back to you. They may not be aware, okay? So that's why it's scary for everyone. But anyway, throat chakra is something that's the guidance for the divine masculine, okay? To work on your throat chakra, clear your throat chakra, balance your throat chakra, speak your truth. Even if, the divine masculine, even if you're afraid of being rejected, speak your truth. That's the only way it's going to set you free. And then the the divine is also asking to trust in this foundation, to trust in it. You can trust in this foundation. You can trust in this relationship. So the divine is stepping in. They're helping the divine masculine with this, to help them trust in this process. Okay. And what is the divine guidance for the divine feminine? 2 cards, please. 2 cards. What is the divine guidance, please, for the divine feminine? 2 cards. All right. Yeah. So what we have here is we have 2 of Pentacles and we have 7 of Wands. So the divine guidance, right? So they're all about balance, and a balancing act. Again, we're talking about the balance act. And you're trying to balance between 2 worlds right now. We're kind of got 1 foot in the 5th dimension, 1 foot in maybe the 4th dimension or the 3rd, depending on how wildly your emotions go up and down. If you get into anger or sadness or that extreme desire, right? And you might I always like to show my little chart here, right? So for some of us who are working on getting in peace, I know it's hard to say, peace and joy and love, right? Enlightenment. And then sometimes we dip down into guilt or shame or anger. Desire is a big one, right? When you're in the twin flame journey, right? You desire to be with your twin flame. And some of us may dip down just into the fourth dimension, which is more neutrality, more acceptance, more willingness. Anyway, it's a balance, right? You're trying very hard to notice being in the physical and what that's like and navigating what's happening in the world versus being at peace. Being in this celebration, right? Being in this transcendence and knowing all this work you've done. Yeah. And they're saying, go ahead and like build that altar. Have like an altar of like where you like have like where you light candles and like you show like all the, I don't know, like whatever it is that's meaningful to you, like crystals or certain sayings or whatever that is that really like brings you in that feeling of type feeling, like, oh wow, look how far I've come. And and regardless of what everyone else is going through, they need you to feel safe, okay? Because that's what this is all about, okay? So it's a balancing act, okay? So the divine is helping us with this. And then, of course, surrendering our ego and knowing we are good enough. We are more than good enough for this relationship. If some of you are questioning that, some of you are questioning your own worth, you wouldn't be on this twin flame journey if you weren't good enough. I mean, yes, you are. That's not even a question. Okay. And then the defense mechanisms have to come down. Can't get defensive. And this has to do, and this is what they're telling me for anything. This can't just be, and this is hard, right? It can't just be about your twin flame, okay? Obviously, sending loving energies to your twin flame is very helpful for the earth, by the way, and the collective. But you want to do that for the collective as well. There's going to be a lot of camps out there, I call them camps, where they believe in many things that don't make them feel safe. Some people don't feel safe due to health reasons. Some people don't feel safe due to having our rights taken away. Some people don't feel safe due to Republican versus Democrat versus religious versus non-religious. And so everyone has their defense mechanism up about what people's belief systems are, okay? And so try to remember that little permission rows in between you, because just know that they're there for a reason to mirror back whatever it was you didn't heal inside yourself. I know that's hard to be aware. Just awareness is the first step, right? When someone triggers you, you're all like in awareness, like, okay, what part of this isn't right or is really wrong? Even if it's racism, right? Like, let's say someone says something and it's racist, and you're like, wow, this person's really racist, and this person's not a good person. It's almost like you still have to, and you're really triggered, and you know that that behavior is not good. At the same time, you have to remember what Mr. Rogers said, and that yes, people have bad behaviors, but it doesn't mean that person is not a good person. Remember Mr. Rogers said all? What a he was so like ahead of his time, right? He was almost like a monk. Anyway, and it's just like coming back to like we are all one, no matter how hard that is, to know that we are all one. And so to take down your defense mechanisms, and this will also help you get into twin flame union, because it's all about getting over this illusion, which is why we have the moon card here, of illusions, right? Getting rid of the illusions that we are separated. We are all one. And so that's why we're on this really tough journey. Everyone is, right? Everyone's on this journey, not just us, but our particular journey is geared towards this particular type of relationship, because only 25% of the world, I think, is doing the twin flame union relationship. And some of them are still young, like they're still children. So it's only by 25% of the world. Not too many have chosen this path, are actually twin flames. So yeah, so it's a balance, and we're trying to work on our defense mechanisms. Try to think of it as pictures in your aura and try to ground those, kind of pull those down. You can still think that they're right. You can still think your pictures are right, but just try to bring them down and ground them for the sake of getting along with others and for the sake of feeling one with others. And the more you feel at one with everything and everyone, and your twin flame, the more you and your twin flame will magnetize each other energetically in the physical, because that's the final step. Energetically, I know a lot of you already feel connected to your twin flame. I know I do. And then when you're physically together, that's kind of the final step. And you really want to be in that mode of we are we are a mirror for each other. And so whenever I feel triggered by my twin flame, this has something to do with inside of me, and they have no choice but to mirror that back to me. And you have to kind of be in that awareness when you're with your twin flame, no matter what. And they have to be in that same awareness because they're being mirrored back too, and not take anything personally between the two of you. And just know, okay, this is another learning opportunity. Let me go within and figure out what is it about me that needs to be purged or needs to be healed or needs to be grounded. And then whatever it means to you. Like, you don't have to do it that exact way. But now let's pull I think this is called like a love oracle or something. Let's pull a love oracle. Let's see what this says. Can I have some more? I don't know if it's going to be divine's advice or if this is something where it's just something they want us to know, but let's pull a love oracle. And also, if you're interested in a personal reading from me, it'll look a lot like this. That will be personalized to you, and you can email me at my domain name, which is twinflamealchemisttarot@gmail.com. Okay, let's pull one. What do we got here? Twin flames. Your passion ignites. Twin flames, your passion ignites. So what they're telling me is that just know your divine masculine's passion for you is ignited, even though you don't see it in the physical, and some of you may not even feel it energetically. That just has to do with the timeline you're on. Just know it has a lot to do with the vibration you're on. And so trust me, when you start getting into the fifth dimension, you are at a higher version of yourself and you really feel your divine masculine energetically. I can't tell you how you'll feel your divine masculine energetically because it's different for everyone. I feel it in feelings. I can feel the feelings of love. I can feel feelings of sadness. I can feel feelings of anxiety. I feel feelings of my divine masculine. And then also, I know that someone else said that they feel like a tingling in their chakras when their divine masculine is thinking about them. They feel like a tingling. So it's different for everyone. All right. So let's get some messages. Let's get some messages from your divine masculine. Okay. Because, we're waiting on one, right? We're all waiting on a message. Let's see. What would they say? What would our divine masculine say to us if they were here? Okay. Can I please have a divine masculine message to the divine feminine for the collective, please? For the collective. A divine masculine message for the divine feminine for the collective, please. Oh my gosh, it says, I'm going to cry. It says, I still love you. I still love you. I am going to cry. I'm absolutely going to cry. Okay, I'm not going to cry. So anyway, I still love you. So that's the message. Okay, and then I wanted to give you one more piece of advice from the, without crying, if I can. Okay. Jeez. Okay, wasn't that nice? Your divine masculine would tell you right now that they still love you. Okay, so the nurturer transforms sex. This is your message because I asked for advice at the very end. This is the very final piece of the reading, and it's the nurturer transforms sex. So I'll tell you what this means. The nurturer, so it says, make it obvious that you know how to meet your partner's need for loving acceptance and security. Developed trust. ... Work your will in order to get what you want. The best way for you to transform your situation is to share your most valued resources lovingly. Fight obsessive behavior and do what you know is right. Yeah, so just being accepting and loving and develop your own security and feel like your own love and fight that obsessive behavior, like fight that ego mind of feeling like, you need something outside of you to be happy, value your own transformation, celebrate your own transformation, nurture yourself. It's kind of saying all these things, right? And then it says, to make your home a sweet love nest, act like a parent who knows best. Your loved one's needs should be your own. Bless them with your hearth and home. You'll know a love that's oh so rare, an unconditional love to share. Make magic. Pray, consult the wise lot, hope. I'm sorry, I need glasses. Or maybe I have tears in my eyes. I don't know which. Okay. Make magic. Pray, consult the wise for hope. Once dead, again must rise. Now it's time to work your will. Use all your power, all your skill. Relationships must be made strong. If not, they may not last too long. The power of sex to rule our life, to cause much pleasure, pain, or strife, does give a warning to beware, for sex demands respect and care. The consequences are too grave if sex is not for true love saved. Yeah. So they're saying, don't allow this whole like need to like have that physical relationship overrule what's important right now, which is transcendence. Okay. So even though like we can get obsessed over missing the sex part, right? They're asking you to not allow that to overrule you because that's really just your physical needs, right? That's really more of a third dimensional relationship need. Okay. And we're getting into the fifth dimension where we can energetically, believe it or not, even connect in that way. Believe it or not, in the fifth dimension, you can energetically connect sexually. But at the same time, your true love is more what has to do with unconditional love, right? Unconditionally, energetically. It's like you're making your relationship stronger through this unconditional, energetic love. It, as you know, I mean, we're all in a much, we all know that people have sex and they're not in love, right? We know that physical sex doesn't mean love, right? So basically, that's all this is saying. It's just like nurture yourself, transform this relationship. Because if you go out looking for this, over the, I mean, I get it. I mean, no one's right or wrong if they do this, right? I'm like you're not wrong. Like if this is what you want to do, I mean, like there's nothing wrong with it. But at the same time, it may be a distraction to what like your growth and like how far you've come and surrendering that part of yourself, you know, and it's not like an obsessive need anymore. That's all. Anyway, I don't know why this was the final message. Maybe some of you needed to hear that. I don't know. I know some of you are young, so I get it. I get it. Some of you are very young. All right. Well, I do want to say that my daughter is in town. My daughter's living with me. She's home from college, and so I do want to spend a bit more time with her. We're having so much fun, and so what I'm doing is I'm now posting every other day. And so I think you will enjoy my other videos. It's about like I ask a question and then I do the mirror work, which I think is really, really good. And usually this is something I would charge for because it's kind of like a life coaching thing. And so I do mirror work on these pertinent questions that you may have. And so I think you'll enjoy it. So every other day I'm going to start posting, but I will keep doing these weekly divine feminine, divine masculine energy updates because I think they're also helpful. And I just want to thank you so much for clicking on my channel. And also, I would like to say thank you for my new subscribers. I really appreciate all of you. And if you did like this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button. And I will see you, today's Monday, I will see you Wednesday. Thanks. Bye.